Hi, everyone.
Hey, I'm Dart.
I'm Lisa.
Yeah, thank y'all for showing up again tonight. And so we're just here for a fun evening. And
Our regular scheduled program, Monday nights.
That's right. Let the zoo begin.
Let the zoo begin. Dart. Well, okay, so we have to start out by saying we always say the same thing.
That's right. And which is?
Well, Dart and I believe that financial planning should be fun, so
That's
you
right.
can make memories today and plan for your future. So, and we enjoy doing that process, and we realize everyone is different, and everyone's financial planning is different, and so we just really love doing that and having fun.
Mm-hmm. And everybody wants to have a fun life, and so we know that life is made up of relationships, your health, and your wealth. And so we always invite someone on that falls into one of those three categories.
Absolutely. And we have a fun guest tonight. And actually, her name is Jan. And when she introduces herself, she always says she's the fun to be with Jan. And she has some insights for us tonight about women in business. And she has some really cool stories. So let's pull her in, Dart.
All right.
Yes.
Welcome, Jan.
Well, there you are. Hi, Jan.
Hi, everybody. Oh, my gosh. Yes, I am fun to be with. And you know what? That is, I say that out loud so I can convince myself. And then I'll have to live up to that because it's the most interesting thing when I introduce myself and say, hey, I'm fun to be with and shake hands. And then people are like, oh, and then now there's an expectation. And now I'm like, oh, I got to live up to that.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do.
And I love that you said that making financial planning fun. I mean, because, sometimes it sounds like work and sacrifice and all of that. So kudos to you for just saying how you can make that fun and then live your dreams.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, and Dart seems like he's the quiet, shy one. And I might be a little over the top, but it's interesting when you get us our dynamics and then you get us together and we're talking business or finances. It's interesting how we can switch roles in that. Not on purpose, we love what we do, but we do it together and separately at the same time. So usually if we're with couples, then one of them will like one of our personalities and the other one will like the other one.
Partner up.
Yeah. But so Jan, you have been owning your own business are you going to tell us how long?
For over 4 decades.
Yes.
I started when I was 3.
Yeah.
There you go. That's right.
Lemonade stand.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so that would be McKenna Delaney. I don't think we had her tell that story. McKenna, hey McKenna, thanks for being on here.
Yes. Yep.
She's
our hall monitor.
Yes, I know. I just wait for you to say that word. He loves calling her the hall monitor. We love McKenna. But McKenna, when she was younger, she used to sell food to the neighborhood kids. Yeah.
An entrepreneur from the get-go.
Yes, she was. Yes, she was. But Jan, I really felt like one of the big reasons of having you on here is not only have you been in business for over 4 decades, but you've been doing the same thing and you have never quit. And I think that, a lot of people may look at you and say, oh, she's so successful and she's so fun to be with and she's so wonderful and she's just over the top and she's great and she's just had it so easy. But I don't think that's true. I think you've had to overcome some obstacles. And I really wanted you to start with just talking about some of the ebb and flows of your business over these last 4 decades.
Yeah. Well, I actually started my business. I was a junior high band director. Oh. So that has so much to do with what I'm doing now, right? Mm-hmm. And my hubby is a swim coach, and our 2 schedules and lives were at different ends of the day and different ends of the calendar. And we wanted to start a family. And, I just got invited to one of those Mary Kay things. And, I was the eye roller. Okay. And I was like, I can't believe I'm going to this dorky thing. And I was my own obstacle to begin with.
Well, okay? And don't you think that's true for most people in business? We are a lot of times our own obstacles.
Yes. I was in my own way and I kind of looked down on this opportunity because, I was a teacher and I had a college degree and, all that stuff. And what would people think and say? So that right there is something to overcome, thinking about what other people are going to think about. But at the end of the day, who's going to pay the bills?
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Then they talk the definition of JOB, right?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Right.
So I think that was a big thing right there. And then I think another obstacle was my self-esteem. My self-image was, on a scale of 1 to 10, maybe a 2 or a 3. I didn't really see myself doing this. And thank goodness for my husband, who is so wise. And, we went to hear a little bit about how the whole thing worked. And, we kind of made a pact with each other. Now we're not signing nothing. And then like 10 minutes in, he jabs me and said, you better hurry up and do this so I can retire early, right? So he believed in me more than I believed in myself. I think if it hadn't been for that jab, I'd still be sitting on the sidelines.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's another, obstacle is just how you see yourself. Mm-hmm. And the only way to see yourself differently is to jump in the pool with the big girls and, hang around with people who have bigger visions for what they want to do in life and need to have some thought processes about putting away some money to do that. And, having some financial goals that you can actually meet instead of just going to, doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think that you and I, we've kind of talked about that and are just talking about, having a mentor in our life. And no matter what area it is, but especially if you're in business, to make sure that you have a mentor to emulate. Yes. And, you're going to be your own version of that. But or if it's spiritually or as a parent or whatever it is we're trying to do, I think it's important that we have mentors to speak into our lives.
Absolutely. This week, Wednesday, is Mary Kay Ash's birthday. I think she'd be 103. Oh, wow. And yes, can you believe it? I, feel so privileged to have been a part of this company during her lifetime and to watch her work with people. And I think that's one of the biggest takeaways I have from, just watching her, like, would she get in your space and she would look in your eye and hold you by the hand and, an atomic bomb could go off behind you. And, nothing, she would continue on, focus on that conversation. And even if somebody would come up and pat her on the shoulder, she would touch the hand and continue talking. So in other words, to say, I know that you're here and I'm going to get to you in a minute. So I think people skills, just to watch her in action and watch her integrity, as she was on 60 Minutes and Morley Safer said, don't you think you're using God? And she sat back and thought for a minute and she said, I hope not. I sincerely hope not. That's being on the hot seat. And really that was her desire, is to always be a woman of excellence, to be a woman of integrity in all that she did. And very generous as well in everything. And generous in giving out encouragement. Oh, I long to be the kind of encourager that she would always look for the best in people and tell them, it's like with our kids, if you tell them they already are what you see them becoming, they will step into that role. Absolutely. And I wish I would have known that sooner on.
I love to be an encourager. I love encouraging people. I love seeing their skills and seeing them do something right and complimenting them on that. But I think, we had a big crawfish boil here on Saturday, and there were so many people here. I felt like I struggled a little bit with that, being present. I felt like I didn't have a lot of deep, meaningful conversations. They were more surface level because I was trying to get around to everyone, and I could actually use some work in that area, I think. But Jan, okay, so tell us, I did want you to speak to some of the obstacles? Like, I know that you had moved several times over the course of, owning a business for over 4 decades, and you had to basically start afresh.
Yeah, I did. I've been in 4 different locales since I started my business. Iowa, and that's where I was born and raised. And then Houston, I was there for 12 years. And then we were in the Chicago area for 20. And then, Mark did get to retire early.
Yeah.
So, he got what he wanted out of this too. And so, just to begin again, I mean, my first venture on that was moving to Houston. That was when you didn't have 800 numbers or cell phones, and long distance was super expensive at the time. And I was moving like 1,200 miles away from, our church and our, family. And, I used to play racquetball all the time. My racquetball court was not there. And so it was challenging to get going again. But yet it was kind of do or die time. It was like, you either get good at this thing or you go back to being a band director. I mean, it was like that. And when I looked at, I loved my kids. I loved doing what I did, but I couldn't see doing that. It was so exhausting the rest of my life and not being able to live out the priorities and the things that were important to me. So I had to get to work and really figure some things out the hard way, and, just figure out how to, get started, how to find new people, how to introduce myself in a new area, and then get that business going again. And then, we got that rolling, and then boom, because of my really are now more of a risk taking. And I say that risk taking because my husband is, he minored in safety. Okay.
Oh,
So he's a safety and security guy, but just a little bit of, stepping out, being bold with your heart's desire, and stepping into that instead of standing back and waiting for everything to be right. Because of that, we made some relationships that ended up helping Mark to get the best job for a swim coach on the planet, as far as we're concerned, in the Chicago area. And then I started again. And this time it was a different, it's a different culture everywhere you go. And, I got to tell you that we bought our house here a year before.
In Nashville.
We moved. Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And because of financial advice that I was receiving, we try to buy low and sell high then in the Chicago area. And I came down here several times and kind of got the ball rolling with my business again. And I thought for sure, this time it's going to be faster. Not so much. This time I've got this.
Yeah.
And it still takes time to develop a trust level to become a part.
Long, isn't it?
Yeah.
What did you say, Dart?
I said the runway is just as long.
It is. That's a good way to put it. That is just a really great way to put it. Yeah. I just knew I was going to make it shorter this time. Nope, not so much. But, you just, every place you go has a different culture, even if it's the South or the North or whatever, broad strokes we want to give. People are people, and they are different everywhere you go. And I love that we have gotten to experience those 4 different locations.
Right. So, what would you say to someone who is at that place and they're just like, I've been struggling and I've been trying for so long and I'm just, maybe this is not for me. I just want to give up. Like, what would you say to that person, Jan?
Oh, wow. I just think of Moses, how many times he wanted to give up on the Israelites, right? And then he defended them to God. And then, there are many times when I wanted to, just ditch. It would have been so easy, move into a new location to re-identify myself. But I think, just the words of Mary Kay Ash kind of ring in my head. There's 2 rules in our business, and I bet they're in every business. And number 1 is get started. Get started. Stop standing on the sidelines. And, if you're fixing to get ready to get started and start thinking about it, you'll be there 5 years from now. Just take that first step. It's the hardest one. Get it over with. So get started. And then number 2 is never quit. We got to quit quitting on ourselves.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good. It's not just quitting, but you're quitting on yourself.
Yeah, we're quitting on ourselves. And you know what? I just feel like, I came into this company kicking and screaming and having a wrestling match with God, like, oh, no, this is not for me. And, how did that go?
Right.
I don't know that I came out on top of that, but, so I feel like that God does have a special place for each of us and a calling. Yes. And it's all a part of your story. And if he's called you to it, very seldom does he call you out of it into something else. That's just my personal belief. And so to stay the course, the consistency, because otherwise you're just jumping out of the frying pan into the fire with a new endeavor that, guess what? You have to learn the same skills.
Yes.
Right?
Absolutely. And probably your second choice is probably not in your passion anyway. So just because it gets hard, don't give up.
Yeah. And just quitting ourselves. I just think we live in a culture of quit. And that seems to be the fix for everything. And it's just, starting this, because you bring yourself into the next situation, right?
That's right. You can run away, but you'll still be there.
Yes. And we still have those things that we need to learn that we didn't learn back here.
Yep. One of the things that we fail to do as entrepreneurs is measure how far we've come. We're always measuring where we're not. We're not at this level where, we should be here higher. We should be so forth. But actually taking the time to reflect the obstacles and the ditches that we went through and the mountains that we just nearly missed, or obstacles that happened, and really measuring where we came from point A to point B today, and celebrate that. And looking for things to celebrate along the way, as opposed to trying to set some pinnacle that we're comparing ourselves to somebody else.
Right.
I think it's really important to set a win. Like, what would a win look like for today?
Yes.
And then really, what you can do is get a big, lemonade jar and call that your win jar. Yeah. And every time you have a win, put it on a colorful piece of paper and toss it in there. And have a win. At the end of the year, you'll have 365 wins. And, to see it tangibly on paper like that, Dart, I think really helps you get past that, looking at the negative instead of the positive.
Yeah. So it's so easy for us to forget once we're in the next, dogfight.
Right.
Blind.
Right.
Yeah.
Diane is saying, "Lady up and don't quit."
That's true. That's true.
You could give a shout out. Like, we've got a lot of regular people in here, Nan and Dawn and Missy and Jill and Diana. Thank you, Anna. Thank you.
Yeah.
It's so good to see you all again, Lisa. It's good to see you again. If y'all have any questions for Jan, pop them on there, and we'll get those to Jan, because but Jan, I think there's another thing that I admire about you is being in business for 4 decades. Like, you started back before we had internet. Like, you started back before there was Zoom and Facebook and Twitter and Instagram, and
maybe before fax machines.
Right?
When I was a teacher, we had those mimeograph machines that you turned the crank handle like that. Right. And my phone, you actually stuck your finger in a hole and went like this, and they called it dialing.
Right. That's right.
Right.
Yeah.
But okay, I'm going to tell y'all a little secret from the other day. It was so cute. I was at this same event that where Jan was, and we're sitting there at a table, and suddenly this notification comes on, and it says Jan Onstad is live, and I'm like, she is not live from this event, this full of people. So not only has Jen figured out, I just really feel like that's a big testament to you, because not only have you figured out everything along the way and continue to have a successful business, restarting new locations, but you figured out how to do the internet, how to market yourself, how to do Facebook, and now how to do StreamYard, and how to record yourself and put on live. Like, I feel like you could really speak into that, Jan. Like, those are things, that obstacles that came along the way that weren't from you. They were just the way that the world is continuing to change, and you're adjusting to that, and you're still successful. But it's not that you started one way and you always do the same thing the same way. You're having to adjust to the times.
Yeah. If you don't, you'll get run over. That's for sure. And COVID pushed the fast forward button on all of that. I mean, learning how, because most of our business is face to face, but learning how to have that same, making people feel important, loving on people through a computer screen. Yeah. I mean, we had to pivot or you get run over, right? So, and I think, that was something also that Mary Kay Ash modeled was, right when email came out, we have video of her sitting with somebody, from the tech department, teaching her how to create an email and send it. And I really think if she was around today, she'd probably have a Twitter account and probably be, tweeting out words of encouragement for women. You just never know. So it's just like whatever vehicle is available, utilize it. Yes. So, and I do have to give a shout out to my offspring, Christy Eggers, who is on the top of her game with technology, always ahead of the curve, and watching things on YouTube to know what the next cool thing is. And, she's always like, Jan, okay, for a minute, let me just teach you how to do this. So,
but we need it.
Yeah, she's a graduate of the YouTube University.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Right. Or YouTube, or for Dart, it's just call McKenna.
Yes. And finding those people that can help you out with it, or just realizing how much is on Google or YouTube or whatever, just to look it up yourself, figure it out.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely. Jan, well, okay, so y'all, Jan is, when people come on our show, they don't really promote their business. Like, we're talking about different things, and for Jan, she just wanted to talk about women, celebrating women in business and continuing to stick with it and encouraging them to go on. But the interesting thing is, what Jan hasn't talked about is she sells makeup. Like, how hard would that be in 2020 when we're in a pandemic, we can't be together and face to face? And Jan, like, talk about the ultimate obstacle. Jan had to figure out how to sell makeup virtually. Like, honestly, Jan, was that hard for you?
No, there again, I just latched onto some role models and watched other people do it. And this past Saturday, we had a little Zoom event called Generations of Beauty. And, just to kind of get a little creative with, just including people in our world and, just having some fun with it. Really, that's, what it boils down to. So, we have to adapt and figure it out. And this is the next best thing to face. So I'm going to go with it. Right?
Absolutely.
So, I mean, I remember back a long time ago thinking, I had an actual phone that was attached to the wall in my big master bathroom. And I was thinking at the time, good thing that we don't have video, right? Because I'd be, doing work while I was getting my hair ready or something like that. And now
we live in the world of the Jetsons, don't we?
Oh, we sure do. And you know what? I have a microwave that looks like a Jetson thing too. You'll have to come over and see it sometime. It It does remind me of the Jetsons. So.
Yeah, yeah. If y'all haven't been to Jan's house, it's adorable. Her house is as cute as she is. It's
Right.
so cute.
She's going to host.
I collect teapots and I collect girlfriends.
Teapots and
Girlfriends.
You're so sweet. Well, okay. I know we're getting close to the end of our show, but Jan, if you just could give a piece of advice to these women out here that are trying to do their business and they're struggling and they're just they were just like, oh Lord, what do I do now? What would you say to them?
Oh my gosh. Well, first I think about how Mary Kay said, if just one more woman today realized how great she really is, it will be a great day. And so that God created woman specifically, uniquely for a unique purpose. And let's step into that. And then also that, we become 5 years from now, we'll be like these two things, the people we hang around, the 5 people we hang around with most, and the books that we read.
Yeah.
Right.
And so, who are we hanging around? Are they breathing life? I mean, there's power of life or death in the tongue.
Yes. Amen.
And are we hanging around with people that are pouring life into us or, not?
Yeah.
And so we get to choose. We get to choose those relationships. So I think that is very important that we, are around the people who can speak words of encouragement into us, because look what happened in, when in the 40 years, why they had 40 years in the desert is because the 12 spies, only 2 came back with a good report.
That's
and
right.
believed that God could do it. And the other 10 said, oh no, there's, we're like grasshoppers in their eyes. There's giants in the land. And so we really need to step into realizing that if God has called you to it, he is going to do it. He doesn't equip the called. He doesn't call the equipped. He equips the called, right? He equips you if he calls you to that. So he is going to see you through if you put it in his hands. And many times I just came to a point where I said, okay, Lord, if you or still want me in this business, you're going to have to throw it in front of my path. Be careful what you pray for. You do see I'm still here, right? So anyway.
I love it. And I feel like, if y'all feel like the Lord called you to your business or to start a business and you haven't started it yet, go for it. But if you are in business and you want to give up, but you know that God has called you to do this thing, I just say keep listening to the Lord unless you hear him tell you something different. He hasn't changed his mind.
Right.
Yes. And can I just say, this has everything to do with finances, right? That this was one of the most favorite things I heard Mary Kay say on stage, that from birth to 14, what a woman needs is good parents and good health. From 14 to 40, what she needs is good looks. And from 40 to 60, she needs personality. And from 60 on, she just needs cash. So, I just feel like that is what Dart and Lisa do, is to help you to find that cash that you can take into that season of your life and, to really thoroughly enjoy that season. So whatever it is you have chosen to do it so well that you have abundance left over, and that you need some wisdom and, some people to keep you inside some boundaries there, so you have that to enjoy.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Jan, for that shout out. We did not coerce her to say that.
No, they didn't pay me.
No, we didn't pay you.
That's right.
Oh, no, but I do get my lipstick from Jan.
Oh, yeah.
It's so funny. A lot of people will say, Lisa, your teeth are so white. Your teeth are so white. And I'm like, no, I don't think it's the red lipstick. And so, but I'll text Jan and be like, hey, next time when I see you, bring me some lipstick. I'm forever saying, Jan, I need some lipstick.
Yeah. Yeah. You can just say thank you next time, right? You don't have to tell the story about the teeth.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jan, so much.
Yep.
Thank you for inviting me.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And y'all out, Oh goodness, we forgot to say, McKenna, can you put Jan, what's the best way for people to reach you?
Oh, okay. Well, they can go to my website and reach me through my website, marykay.com/Jano, Jano, or Jan@janonstott.com. And McKenna can put my phone number up here too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
We didn't shout that out. Wait, what's your phone number, Sue? Because she's looking on her phone right now.
Okay. It's 847, which is my Chicago cell phone, 847-778-1077. It's 7 heaven.
Dan, you're awesome. And you're definitely fun to be with.
Thank you.
Yes.
I told you at first, so I had to live up to it.
That's
There you
exactly
go.
right. And
That's right.
I think that's an encouragement to other people. Like, get a tagline for yourself. Call yourself up higher. Call yourself up into what it is that you're supposed to be doing. And like for Dart, when I first met him, just from day one, it was just, I could just see his pillars were strength and character and integrity. And he just carries that with him wherever he goes. And I noticed that, meeting people that are new to me, that he's known for years and years and years, that character and integrity has gone before him, and it stays with him, and it trails behind him. And I think that's something that he always stands by, is just his character and his integrity. That's what's important to him. And so whatever that is for you all, like, figure that out. Like, what's your calling? Like, what's your gift? What is that thing that you're supposed to be doing? What's that passion? And what are those things about your heart that are important to you? And for me, I'm an encourager. I love to encourage people. And I guess I don't really have to think about it. It just comes out.
No,
It does, Lisa.
Yeah.
It does.
she sees somebody just on the street. We'll be downtown Nashville, and she goes, that person needs me to talk to them, and she'll go over and just change their life in just a second. And so,
Wow.
Thanks, Dart.
Keep being who God made you to be.
Right. And Jan, and that's you. You're fun, and people enjoy being with you. And we appreciate you.
Thank you. And thank you for inviting me on tonight.
Yeah.
all right.
Bye, y'all. We'll see
All
you
right.
next week.
Blessings.